Welcome, everybody, to the Stitch and Hustle podcast show with Leathercraft Nation. Today, I'm going to be talking about CNCs versus CO2 lasers and kind of my take on what is better, what could benefit you to either make some money from. If you only have the space to get one or the other, would you prefer a CO2 laser or would you prefer a CNC router? So it all comes down to what are you trying to do? How much are you trying to spend? Like there's a lot of factors that go into it. But what I've seen mainly is one, what's the thickness of material that you're trying to cut? What are you trying to make? Like, are you trying to do, some crazy 3D modeling, engraving, cutting, stuff like that you need a actual router CNC? Or are you just trying to cut out like 1/8 inch quarter wood? Are you trying to just layer it, make signs, cut some acrylic, cut some leather? You got to really ask yourself what type of material are you wanting to cut, first. And then we can talk about price. I mean, here's the thing. We all know, if you've ever looked in some of these machines and you're thinking, okay, I want one or the other because I know I can make some money, that you're about to spend a few $1,000s, maybe $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, depending on, what brand. But if you're just getting into it and you're just wanting to dabble, I highly suggest, for one, a hobby CNC machine, looking into the Onefinity or the Shapeoko CNC machines. They're great entry-level machines. For lasers, again, this depends on what type of your workspace you're working with. But for lasers, I really suggest Omtech. I really enjoy them. None of this is sponsored, by the way. I just really like these two brands. I've owned both of them, so I can tell you from experience what I dealt with. And so Omtech's been really good for the laser side of it. I do have a 60-watt laser. It is a bigger laser. It's not your desktop laser like a Glowforge or a Polar, but they do offer stuff like that if you've ever been thinking about getting into lasers. So just know that you have some options there. So pros and cons, like right off the bat, like a CO2 laser to me is perfect for the person that wants to build things out of wood or acrylic or anything else like that and not have the mess. Like you can have a table saw, take it outside, cut your material down, and then put it in the laser. Woodworking with the CNC, on the other hand, it can be a nightmare if you don't have dust collection. And that's exactly what I dealt with. But, it wasn't horrible. Like, depending on the type of wood that you're going to be engraving or cutting on the CNC, like you can cut out like, let's say just plywood. So if you're cutting plywood on a CNC with the right type of bit, like you should be getting chips. Like it shouldn't be a fine dust. But if you're doing stuff with like MDF for certain signs, it goes everywhere. It goes absolutely everywhere. So you have to think about, do you want to deal with the mess that a CNC laser or CNC machine, a router CNC, leaves? But again, Onefinity, I ended up selling that a couple years ago, not because the machine was poor quality or didn't hold up to my standards. It's just I shifted everything from woodworking to leathercraft. But I feel like I should share this information with people that want to make some money off of making stuff on the laser or CNC. So The cool thing about the CNC machines is if you're looking at the onefinity, like I said, that's the one I suggest. You figure, I'd say a few $1,000s. They got one right here, Elite Woodworker Edition, 32 by 32 cut area, which is what I had. It's going to run you about $3,300, and then it kind of goes up from there. Now, the only thing that I can say about CNC machines is, like I said, the dust. So I would suggest, if you have the space, to get a dust collector. Now, you don't have to have one, but it sure makes things nice when you do. And you can get shop vac with attachments. They make some that will turn it into a dust collector that somewhat work for some light cutting, I guess you would say. But, or you can go Harbor Freight, get a cheap one. The only thing is, with dust collectors, the cheaper ones, you're not going to get the small particles, a micron, whatever they call it. So you have to be thinking about that. The other thing is, bits can get very expensive very fast if that's something that you're looking into. So the overall cost of the machine, then plus your bits, like I said, you can do this starting out without the dust collector. It's not the end of the world. If you're okay, sweeping up and after each job, it's really not that bad. I did it, but just know, there's some extra cost associated with setting up, and some of those bits can run $30, $50. It all depends on what type of coating that you get on them. So you got Astro coated, or just regular. Bits and Bits is a really good one if you're just looking for a place to get them. So if you're kind of leaning towards, I want a CNC machine, Bits and Bits is good. Let's see, Whiteside is also a good one. And these are all just like hobby machines they would consider, but they're smaller. But man, the onefinity, it's a robust machine. Like, I had no worry about whether or not it could cut through the wood. I could go, deeper depths. It was really nice. It really was. And one day I'll get back into it. But if you're leaning towards the CO2 laser side of it, again, you're looking at a few thousand to get started, for an entry-level machine with Omtech. But again, there's always some extra costs associated with it because you're going to need a chiller. You don't need a external air assist with that, but I highly suggest it. And if you're new to lasers, so the air assist is what blows out all those fine particles, clears out the area. I'm sure there's more science to it than what I know about it. All I know is between cooling the wood and clearing out the area, it's just the air assist that comes with the machine is not the best. My cuts weren't even, weren't going all the way through. So I just hooked up a regular air compressor, and that's my air assist. So, and then if you have a large enough one, you don't have to have it on all the time. That's nice. Or it doesn't have to refill all the time. So let's go back to what you're going to make. So if you're trying to make money with CO2 lasers or with CNC, and you're like, okay, well, I'm just going to do some thinner signs, some, engraving. The CO2 laser is great if you're doing some smaller signs. Of course, they have bigger machines, but if you want to do LED backlit acrylic signs, if you want to get into leathercraft, like the laser is perfect for that type of stuff. Especially if you're doing layering of any type with wood. Now you can get into like the 60 watt lasers, and you could probably cut a 1/4 of an inch. You might have to do multiple passes or slower. But once you start getting into like the 1/2 inch thickness, like automatically, if you're doing woodworking, you should really lean towards the CNC machine if you're thinking about doing any type of thicker stock. Like I said, unless you're getting a really beefy laser to be able to do the thicker material, again, I would go with CNC machine. The other thing is you've got to think with how you're finishing the project. So if you don't know much about lasers, you know that it's going to char the edge. So you've got to think about what's it going to do to the end result, and do I want to deal with painting everything because the edge of it's going to be charred or black, however you want to say it, or do I want to use a CNC machine that I know I'm going to have a clean edge and I can leave it natural, I can stain it, I can paint it, things of that nature. I did a lot of flags. So like on the CNC machine, you have different type of bits for carving. So you can carve out the stars. You can carve out really cool designs, letters, wording with your V bits. With your laser, you're pretty much stuck with just like a flat, engrave. Like it's going to be squared off, or you can set it up. There's ways to kind of taper it a little bit, but it's not like a CNC machine. So if you're thinking about making money with a CNC machine laser, definitely give me a thumbs up. Give me a comment. We're just trying to show people that, hey, you can make money with either one, and really quickly at that. Like, there's a learning curve for either one, for a CNC or for a laser. But either one, I'd say within a week, like if you're really into it, like you're going to be making some stuff. You start making some posts, start getting your name out, and people are going to buy some stuff. And here's what's crazy is like everybody thinks that like, well, I see this stuff all over Facebook. I see it all over Etsy. It's oversaturated. Like, to me, saturation is almost a myth. Like, we perceive it as saturation because we see all these people doing it. Well, just because they post something doesn't mean that they're actively selling it. So you got to be one step above everybody else. Like, you've got to make sure that your titles and descriptions are better. You got to make sure that you're using quality material, because anybody that has looked at that product multiple times probably knows exactly what looks like quality material and what doesn't. They also know, if the pricing's too much. But I don't ever advise anybody using subpar material. But you can make some really cool signs out of MDF. Like if it's some thinner MDF, make a sign, prime it. The only thing I don't really care about MDF is it soaks up paint pretty quick if you've never dealt with that. So definitely do your research on what type of wood you can use. There's so many companies out there that that sell really high quality wood for CNCs and lasers. If y'all haven't checked out Burrowwood, check him out. He is perfect for people with lasers, definitely for CNCs or any type of crafters. So definitely check him out. So let's see here. So we're going to take a look at Omtech lasers. Just because, like I said, this is more for beginners, someone that doesn't know much about lasers, that's kind of getting into stuff. Let's see. They got all sorts of stuff. For CO2 lasers. Let's see here. So you can get a decent one for $2,500 to $3,000 to get started. And I know that sounds expensive, but compared to some other machines that are around $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, I don't think it's too bad. My other suggestion, if you're really trying to make some money and trying to make it fast, save up some money and purchase one in, I'd say, around July. If you buy one in July, get it somewhere in August, maybe even June. Give you some time to practice and come up with a handful of ideas for the holidays. Maybe like for Halloween, come up with some ideas for Christmas, and really dial in some products that you can sell for the holidays. Like I said, especially Christmas. The other thing is, if you don't have a website, get on Etsy, set you up an account. When you make your products, make sure you design your products where they can be personalized. People love personalization. And the main reason is, all these people, all these crazy names that people name their kids, that you can't go into a gift shop and find them. Like you got Bob and Sue, and both of them start with a K, but the K is silent. It's stuff like that. To each their own on what they name their kids, but just know that like you can do this with the CNC or laser. Either one, you can personalize. See if I can talk today. It's been a rough day. Not rough, just long. So, but they're easy to make money, especially around the holidays. Like, I kid you not, paid off half of a machine within a month, and all I sold was Christmas ornaments. Seriously, just come up with a really cool design for a Christmas ornament. Leave some space to put a name. Maybe leave a space to put several names for like a family. Come up with something that they're like, this would be a great gift. Or it's something that I want. The crazy thing is, for Christmas ornaments, if you're thinking about a laser, is that people will buy from you in January and almost into February. People bought Christmas ornaments that I made off of the laser, still making money, in January for the following year. Crazy. And here's the thing. So if you make a ornament, I had this Christmas ornament where it had enough space to put, say 5 or 6 names. If you were to design an ornament and they bought it from you one year, and then say in July they had another kid, and if they remember, they're like, hey, I ordered this ornament, I'm going to go I'm going to go check them out. I need to reorder one, and I need to add a name. The other thing is, if you can do anything pet related, cats, dogs, whatever, people go crazy over personalized dog, cat, ornaments, you name it, decor. Like, they just go crazy. So really quick and easy way to make some money: make some ornaments during Christmas. You can make some really cool stuff on the CNC during Christmas. You can do some wooden wreaths with like a monogrammed wreath. Like, there's so many different ways that you can make money with either a CNC machine like the onefinity, or you can make a ton of money on the laser. So different ways you can make money. You can get into some entry level ones for about the same cost. It's just, remember that extra cost, the CNC machine needing your bits, possibly some dust collection. Your CNC machine is going to need the chiller. It's going to need the air assist. But just know, like, it all depends on what you want to do. For me, I kept the laser, sold the CNC machine, because even though I really like the onefinity, the wood was getting too expensive. I kind of shifted gears towards the leathercraft, and I knew if I kept the laser, I could do leathercraft. I could cut acrylic. I still could cut wood. I know it can cut more than 1/8 of an inch, but like, I don't really have any purpose of cutting anything more than that for little stuff that I do. But you can engrave on tumblers. Like, it's more versatile for what I was doing, so that's why I kept the laser. But some people might benefit more from an actual router CNC machine that can cut thicker stock for whatever, home decor. I've seen people make furniture out of this stuff, so it's all there. Like, you can make anything. But just know, like, there's an option for either one. The price, like I said, you're still going to pay a few $1,000s. But just know that Omtech, good, solid beginner machine. And then onefinity. I've had the onefinity. I've had the Shapeoko. Both good machines. So really cool options if you're thinking about either one, making a little bit extra money, a little side hustle, or if you just want it as a hobby. So, guys, I'm going to get it off. I appreciate every one of y'all. Be sure to hit that follow button. Check out some of my other videos, whether it's side hustle related, leathercraft, laser, you name it. I got a little bit of everything. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.